everyone, welcome to an Empowering Self narrative, where we unravel the stories we tell ourselves with me, your host, Ninathecrab. Our beliefs shape our reality. What if some of them are holding us back? This podcast dives deep into the power of our narratives, exposing limiting beliefs and paving the way for new, empowering stories. Are you ready to unleash your true potential? I hope so.
I am. Yeah. Girl, where's the video?
It's been a year and 6 months since my last episode, and I know you guys are probably wondering, Nina, where have you been? So I owe y'all a bit of a catch-up of what's happened in the past year and a half. For starters, I've moved from New York to Georgia. I now study dramatic writing at Savannah College of Art and Design, and I minor in film. So I've taken this whole entertainment thing and really was like, I'm gonna make this into my whole entire career. But then I started to lag on my social media. I stopped sharing episodes, I stopped posting as much, and for that, I deeply apologize because I know that there are some listeners out there who've been waiting for the next episode, but finally, here it is. But I also feel like I have to tell you why I stopped. A lot of things in my life around the time that I posted my last episode were changing. I realized that there is no amount of serendipity, no amount of good luck and good fortune that can make one circumvent hard work. And I wasn't putting in as much hard work that was necessary. Planning and recording episodes, or even overcoming that fear to share those episodes, was something that I was not facing directly. But that's all right, because here we are, starting again with a new episode. Today we're going to be talking about how to accept ourselves so that we can allow other people to accept us as well. So before I get started into this episode, I want y'all to take a little tip from my book of tips or advice. It's okay if you started something and you fell off. It's okay if you started something and stopped for whatever reason that you had to. Just know that if you still desire to, you can pick up that hobby or that practice or whatever it is today and keep going. Because every day is a new day for you to do what it is that you want to do and to create the life that you want to live. So don't let as much time has passed by for you to let that be an excuse to not continue to do something that you feel passionate about, that you feel like is your calling. Okay, enough of me rambling. Let's get into some more intentional rambling in today's episode. The other day, I heard my brother pick up the phone and he answered it on speaker, and there was someone who answered who was speaking to him, who was obviously this woman from corporate. I don't know what company she was calling from, but I could tell that this was a businesswoman. And my brother answers the phone like, what's up? And she goes, am I talking to his name? And he goes, yes, sir. And in that moment, I was shocked. I was shocked because I realized that my brother did not have a code switch. And so if you're unfamiliar with the code switch, I mean, hey, I'm a Black woman, and so a lot of the times when I go into any professional or formal setting, I code switch. I let go of whatever accents or lingo I might use, like, outside of work or outside of a formal setting. I have a white person voice. Honestly, I might be using a bit of that voice right now because in my mind, podcasting is like a little bit more formal. My code switch turns on and off depending on whatever I'm doing. And sometimes like my voice will change depending on who I'm speaking to. It might sound lighter and softer. I might start using words that I typically wouldn't use to make people feel that I'm intelligent. I code switch even when I don't have to. Even when it's not in a formal setting like business. Sometimes when I'm just in social gatherings and I'm meeting new people for the first time, even people who are Black, I might code switch because I'm just like, I don't know who they want. And I seem to come back to this, who do they want me to be? What are they expecting from me? Instead of me just showing up as I am in every moment and letting someone else decide if they like that version, if they like who I am or not. It might hurt sometimes to be rejected by someone, but there are so many people who have yet to feel the fullness of acceptance by being who we truly are. So I realized also, a lot of realizations as you'll hear, I realized also that if I'm not who I am fully and authentically, I can never attract who is meant to accept me in my fullness, in my authenticity. And isn't that crazy? Because in that same breath, that means that I have to live in this fullness of myself and not dim down my light, to not conform myself to be any particular way, because that is the only way that I will find people who are fully accepting of me. And it's scary because a part of me feels like, oh my gosh, if I am who I really am, if I am the version of myself that's too much or hyper or uneducated on certain matters of the world, if I am who I really am, if I'm being honest and truthful about who I am, will people still like me? Will they still want to be my friends? Will they still love me? In the older days, centuries ago, we would find tribes in order to survive, and being in a tribe would mean our likelihood of surviving. So what this means is that if I feel that being who I am would ostracize me from the tribe, there's a part of me that feels like if I'm not liked, if they don't like me, if they reject me, I'm gonna die. It sounds extreme, because it is. Because it's not that deep. Because I know truthfully that there is room for acceptance for me. Because I have a friend now who is literally the craziest person that I've ever met, and I love them with all of my heart. And this person has allowed me to realize that if I can accept them fully, then I know that there are people who are waiting to accept me fully. And I can't wait to experience acceptance of every single part of me, the good parts and the parts that aren't the sexiest. And it makes me want to live more fully, even though it seems kind of scary. Even though being who I am in this world that says, no, who you are is ugh. Being who I am in a world that says that is radical. It's an act of self-love. And it's something that I am intentionally making time for in my life, intentionally making actions to resemble that. And I think also in that same breath is I have to understand who I am now. I am now figuring out who I am in my fullness, because I spent so much of my life people pleasing. I spent so much of my life thinking of what someone else wants of me and catering to that person's needs and wants. And now being like, you know what, I'm gonna be who I am in my fullness, and I have to figure out who that person is. And isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? Being 24 and finding out who you really are. Whether someone likes me or not is not up to me. So at the end of the day, who cares why people like me? All I can be in control of is who I show up as in every moment. And now my commitment to myself is to show up as myself in each moment, because that changes from moment to moment. As always, thank you so much for listening. Remember, you are the creator of your reality, so create it like you deserve it, because you do.